Okay, so we're going to work a few systems out with the elimination method. Let me fix this up. Okay, so one of the things that you do have to remember, elimination method, you want to have both of them in standard form. And when I say standard form, you do have to remember it's not writing an equation in standard form, it's thinking about the x and the y being on the same side. So let's say we start out with, let me go ahead and label this out. Okay, so let's say we have 2x plus y is equal to 15, and x plus 5y is equal to 30. Elimination method, remember you want to cancel something out of the two things that you have. And because there's no way you can work out, you can solve an equation that has two different variables. You can solve one of them that has one variable, but when it has two of them, you're going to have to move them around and manipulate them to where you end up with just one equation or one variable to be able to use that value and plug it into the other one. You do have to remember that when you're canceling something out, it can only be done if you have the same coefficient with different different signs. When it comes to a system, try to, how would I explain this? Try to have an eye for that, because if you don't, you're gonna have to do extra steps that sometimes you don't really have to do. Like, for example, if I'm paying attention to this one right now, right away I can see that everything is positive. So when I'm moving or manipulating my equation, that I'm going to do whichever one. Sometimes it could be the case that you can do both of them, and I will show you one example of that. But you really have to pay attention to, okay, I don't have anything that's negative, so I know I'm going to have to multiply by a negative to make one of the two negatives. And because that's the only way that I can cancel something out, if I have a negative and a positive. And then I've noticed that, so looking at my x coefficients, one of them say 2, one of them's a 1. And then on the other one, I have a 1 and a 5. So you're going to have to decide if you want to make the top coefficient into, let's say we're working out with the y's, the top coefficient into a 5 or the bottom one into a 1. If we were working out the x's or trying to cancel out the x's, then I either have to make the bottom one into a 2 or the top one into a 1. If you're going to make a coefficient into a smaller number than it already is, most likely you're going to have to multiply by a fraction. I won't recommend multiplying by fractions. I mean, you can, and it's possible, it's doable. You can work with them and find your answer either way, but it's just trying to work smarter, not harder, okay? So, in this case, there's no opposite signs, and then the coefficients of both are not the same, so we're going to have to move one of them. I'm going to go ahead and work with the, let's say we work with the y's. We'll cross out the y's. I'm not trying to make this 5 into a 1. I'm going to make this 1 into a 5. And to do that, I'm going to multiply everything by a negative 5. Not only do I need the same coefficient, I need the coefficient to be the opposite sign so I can cancel it out. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply the first one. Negative 10x minus 5y is equal to negative 75. And then the bottom one, I didn't do anything to it. I wanted it to stay the same, so I'm just rewriting it. Now, when you're working with the elimination method, you're going to think about lining them up. It's a vertical alignment, and you're working with them vertically. So I cross out the two terms that have the opposite signs with the same variable. Then on the other side, I end up with negative 9x is equal to negative 45. Remember, you're just combining them vertically. It's a one-step equation, so I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by a -9. And the value of my x ends up being a +5. So now that I know that my x is a 5, I can choose whichever one of the two original equations and plug it in. Now, when you're doing this here, please pay attention to your equations, because one of them, sometimes it happens that both of them are either complicated, okay? So it don't really make a difference, whichever one you choose. Sometimes it's easier to choose one or the other. In this case, because I'm looking for my y, I'm going to go ahead and go with the first one and not the second one. So I have 2x plus y is equal to 15. It does not mean you will not be able to plug it in into the bottom one. It's just easier to plug it in into the first one. That's a 10 plus y is equal to 15. Subtract the 10 on both sides. So 10 is 5. I mean, y is 5. So I have found the solution set of my system. 5, 5. And what it means is that if you were to plug those two values back into either one of the equations, it's going to make the equation true. Let me go ahead and do that for you. I'm going to go ahead and use the top one. So 2x plus y is equal to 15. So 2 times 5 plus 5 is equal to 15. 10 plus 5 is equal to 15. And we know that that is true. Now, guys, if they're asking you this question and it's a griddable question, sometimes what they like to do is ask you for either one of the values of the system. So maybe the question says something like, what is the x value in the solution set? And you will bubble it in. Or maybe it says something like, what is the y value in the solution set? And you will bubble it in. The only time that you will have them both listed out the way that I have them right here is that if it's a multiple choice question. Now, if it is a multiple choice question, one of the things that you can pay attention to, and I hope you do, it's if you have a few solution sets listed out and you find your x, okay, then you know for sure it cannot be B and C. Then what you can do is see which one is the one based on the second one. You can plug it in and check whichever one it gives you the correct value of your equation. You already know the top one has to equal 15 and you already know the bottom one has to equal 30. So it's an easy way for you to work with them if you are if you have a multiple choice question, just to go back and plug them in. Okay, so now let's say we don't have a common factor between them. So let's say we have this other type of system. Okay, now I will use the elimination method on this one as well because they're both in standard form, or they look like they're in standard form. I think I need to find another name for that, and instead of calling them standard form, maybe x and y on the same side. All right, so I know I need one negative, one positive. These two are positive, so not that I cannot work with them, I can. I would just have to move one of them around with an opposite sign. What I'm going to do is, because I already have a negative and a positive term here, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out the x's. Now, on these two, I don't have a common factor other than 1. 1 is a common factor between 3 and 5. But what I'm going to do is create a common coefficient. And you can do this every time. If you want to do this every time you're working with a system in a standard form and you're working with the elimination method, then do it every time. Okay. All you're going to do is, you already have the signs that you need. You're just going to multiply each one of those equations by the opposite coefficients. And what this is going to do is create the same coefficient when you multiply through. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. Sorry about that. Let me fix this here. Okay, so the first one would have given me negative 15x plus 10y is equal to 10. And the bottom one will give me 15x plus 15y is equal to 90. So what's doing in this case, it's creating a equivalent equation for both of the ones that I start with. All right, I'm going to be able to cancel out the x's. Moving through, remember we're working vertically, so 10 and 15, they're both positive, so it gives me a positive 25. It's equal to 100 on the right hand side because they're both positives. So divide both sides by 25, and y is equal to 4. Now, I haven't showed you one that's a decimal, but there are decimals in your systems, okay? It's not a wrong answer if you end up with a decimal. It may be a wrong answer if you have a repeating decimal, but if you have a decimal, it doesn't mean it's wrong, okay? So now that I know the y is 4, I'm going to go back and plug it in. Again, it doesn't matter on whichever one you want. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in into the first one. So negative 3x plus 2y is equal to 2. Plus 2 times 4. So negative 3x plus 8 is equal to 2. Negative 3x is equal to negative 6. Because remember, you're going to subtract that 8 onto the other side. And divide both sides by negative 3. So x is a positive 2. So your solution set is 2, 4. There is going to be an answer choice that has a 4 too, because they know that some of you will switch those two numbers around. Okay, so you have to pay attention. The x always comes before the y. Now, I know y could be confusing because when we're looking for the slope, the y comes above the x. But in this case, because you're writing a coordinate point, it's just xy. All right, last thing that I want to talk to you about is what happens when you cross out both of the variables. So let's say we have this right here. All right, so you're not going to manipulate either one of them because you can see that you can cross those two out, cross those two out. So this whole left-hand side gives you a 0. The right-hand side gives you a 12. If you cancel out your variables every time, it doesn't matter if you're working out a system or if you're working out a one variable equation. If you end up with something like this here, 0 is equal to 12, that means your system has no solution. If you were to end up with the same thing, 0 is equal to 0, then you know it has infinite many solutions. Okay? So if you were doing this with the graphing method, it will give you an error if you have no solution, because the graph of them are going to be parallel lines. Now, if you have the same line, it's going to graph one before it graphs the other one, and then you will be able to see that it's the same line. So you won't be able to see a red and a blue. You're only going to be able to see a red. Okay? All right. So if you want to use the elimination method, it's a nice method to use if you like to work things algebraically. If you have trouble with the equations, maybe writing them in slope-intercept form and using the graphing method instead is better for you. I personally like to use the elimination method for the majority of them. But like I was telling you, if one of them is already in y equal in slope-intercept form for both of them, type it into the y equal in your calculator, graph it, and find the solution that way. Now, if one of them is in standard and the other one is in either slope-intercept form or says something like x is equal to, then you may want to use the substitution method on that one. Or if you decide that you like the elimination method, then move the second one into standard form and use the elimination method. If you have any more questions, let me know. And we'll be working some more outs in class so you can have more practice on them.